Adobe just dropped the July 2025 Photoshop update, and it includes 3 huge workflow improvements you want to use today. In this video, I'll show you how to remove objects faster, pick the perfect Firefly model for better AI generation, and share your images to apps with complete control. Go into the Remove tool from the toolbar on the left. Now, in the Options bar on the top, you will see all the settings for the Remove tool. There are some new ones. One of the ones you're probably familiar with already is the mode, which you can use auto, which may or may not use generative AI on, and generative AI off. I'm going to set generative AI on. I'm going to check sample all layers. I'm going to check remove after each stroke. So after I make my selection with the Remove tool, as soon as I release my mouse, Photoshop fills in the selection and automatically removes it. So this is a new option, the Create New Layer checkbox. If you have it checked, you will always get a new layer created when using the Remove tool. I'm going to use my Remove tool to make a selection around this lady on the surfboard, just like this, and it fills in and it's automatically removing the person. Notice in the Layers panel, Photoshop has created a new layer to protect your original image and work non-destructively. So that was a pretty good selection using the Remove tool. I did not have to be right on the edge, and it filled in spaces in the middle where I did not fill in with the Remove tool. Let's remove this dog from his cage. So I'm going to make a selection. I use the Contextual taskbar and I'll say Select Subject. Now before, we may have used generative fill with an empty prompt to remove an object or a person. So if I try, it is generating with Firefly Image 3, and let's see what it does. Now see there, now using generative fill, you can see that instead of removing the dog, it replaced it with this flower. That's not what we want. So the Enhanced Remove tool is now accessible from the Contextual taskbar after making a selection. So I'm going to come up here to the toolbar and go into the Selection Brush tool, and I'm going to brush around this guy just like that. So as I looped around the dog, it gave me a magenta overlay, and that is my selection. If I were to enable any other tool, I would see the marching ants. So this is a selection, even if I did not brush perfectly. And so all I need to do is come down to the Contextual taskbar and press the new Remove button, and it starts removing the area. Even if I did not brush perfectly, the updated Remove tool does a much better job at removing objects without leaving traces of the objects you want to remove. And notice in the Layers panel, Photoshop has created a new layer to protect the original image so that I'm working non-destructively. And again, if I want to use the Remove tool with this example, paint this in right here, fills in the rest, and it's removing the area, and there's the result. And you can see that even through the tag and the strings, that it maintained the lines of the individual little boxes that are stacked here. So that is the Enhanced Remove tool. I'm going to go into the Lasso tool, and you can use any selection method you want. And I'm going to draw this area right around here and something like this. And I'm going to click on Generative Fill and add a prompt, lake with casinos and other large buildings. Before I click generate, this new icon right here is the Firefly icon. If I click on that, I can choose an Adobe model, Firefly Image 3 or Firefly Image 1. So right now I have Firefly Image 3 selected, and I click generate. So now you just saw where Photoshop will let you choose the model it uses to generate content. And click on the arrows here in the Contextual taskbar, and there is another variation, and here's another variation. I kind of like this one here. If you don't like any of these variations, or that model of Firefly didn't give you what you wanted, in the properties up here you can change the Firefly image model, and then you can regenerate it. So this flexibility allows you to choose the best model for your project. Here's the third new feature that I'm going to share. This feature will allow you to share images to apps with customizable format and resolution. So let's share this image that we just generated in the last example with the Firefly feature. Up here is the blue share button on the top right. Click that. Down here where it says send apps, we'll click that. We have these apps here that we can share this image with. This gear right here will allow us to choose the format. I'm going to keep it at JPEG. I could share a PNG or a PSD, and whether I want the original size or a small JPEG. So now I'm going to click on Lightroom, and you see Lightroom is launching. And you get this screen in Lightroom. It says cancel or add one photo. You can also add it to an album from here. Unclick add one photo. And here it is. I'm in Lightroom, Lightroom desktop, and here it is right here. So that was shared with the new feature, being able to share a photo with different resolutions and different formats to these different apps. Those are the top 3 updates in Photoshop 2025 July release that will seriously upgrade your editing workflow. Let me know in the comments which of these you're already using. Hit subscribe if you want future releases broken down fast and clearly. Remember, it's never too late to learn. Thanks for watching.